What is up, everybody? It's Connor from Unscripted, back again with another video. In today's video, I am bringing you 3 bold predictions for CDL Stage 2, and as always, we are doing it off of this script. Before we get into the predictions, don't forget to drop a like on the video if you enjoy the predictions, leave a comment down below with your bold predictions, and subscribe to the channel as well if you are enjoying the content and you are looking for more CDL content in your subscriber box. Got a haircut, my head looks a little bit bigger today than usual, didn't shave my beard yet, that is coming tomorrow. Regardless of that, you are here for Call of Duty, not my fashion update, so we will get right into the Call of Duty, starting with bold prediction number 1. So, bold prediction number 1, the Florida Mutineers finish top 4 in Stage 2. This one is, these are bold predictions. They're not, none of them probably will happen, but if one of them happens, this is the one I actually believe the most. I think the Florida Mutineers, I think it's safe to say they underperformed in Stage 1. They finished, oh no, here we go, this is what I want. So they finished actually dead last in the Group B in the first stage. So it wasn't looking good for them. They actually did end up winning a couple maps, I think 2 series in the major to finish top 8. So compared to where they finished the group play, it was a good placing in the major, but compared to where they were expected to be to start the season, not a very good placing. They definitely were expected to be a top 4 or 5 team. I thought they were team number 4 coming into the season. And I think they will return to team number 4 in Stage 2. So why do I think this? I think the biggest thing for me is just their talent-wise. You can see, I think it's going to take a little bit for them to fully put their talent together and sort of, it seems like their communications, their play, their chemistry, something is off. The talent is there, but something is off. I think they've had more time now to work on that, and they should be better equipped to play as a team come Stage 2. They have the talent for sure. Awakening was a top probably 6 to 8 player in Stage 1. Neptune, he showed his promise and his potential, no doubt about that. Skies, not the MVP candidate he was last year, but I think he can turn it around. And then Slacked, he's definitely been the weak link, and he's had his moments where he played well, and he probably is their leader, but he's not their best player. He is definitely weaker in the respawns for sure, but regardless, I think one thing I think favors this team, too, is the XM4 meta being removed. I think Awakening was far and away, that I can remember, the best Krieg player from Stage 1. Now, I don't know if he'll stick with that. He is technically their flex, so he might run the QBZ, I'm not sure. But if they would happen to use 2 Kriegs, I think they could do some damage. Because Skies, more traditional AR player, he'll probably benefit from having a Krieg in his hands, just that slower play style. Let him hit his shots that we know he will hit when he has, the slow pacing he's set up. He has the time to do it. Awakening, great with the Krieg as well. So I think the M4 meta change will help Florida more than other teams. There are a couple teams I think will benefit and some it will hurt. And I think Florida's one that will benefit. And beyond that, just, more time for Neptune. He is a rookie. More time getting used to playing competitive Call of Duty. Awakening I don't know why he wouldn't keep playing at the level he's been playing at. I think they'll get better as a search team, and just overall, I think their teamwork will be better, and they will surprise some people and finish top 4 at the major. So that is bold prediction number 1. Next up, bold prediction number 2. The New York Subliners will finish top 8 at the major. So this is obviously a letdown for them. It's weird. Coming into the season, I thought these guys were going to be horrible. Especially after Zuma retired, I thought, okay, there's no way they're going to be good, at least not right away. They were on way too short of notice for this to be a good team. Turns out I was wrong. They finished top 3 at the first major. They beat Optic Chicago in that major, which is definitely an upset, especially the way they did it in a 3-0 dominant fashion. And things are going well for them. So part of the reason I think they will struggle in the second stage, just because law of averages, I just feel like if they overperformed in Stage 1, that increases their chances of underperforming in Stage 2. But beyond that, I think, like I was just talking about with Florida, the XM4 meta change, that hurts New York for sure, in my opinion. They were one of the most notorious teams. FaZe did it too, but New York, I just think about Checkmate, the P3 hill under the plane, 4 M4s. They benefited greatly from that. They were very good with the M4s in their hands, and now that will no longer happen. So we'll see how it goes. It's just more of, I think when you take out the overpowered guns like the XM4, it's more about just straight up gun skill. And beyond Clay, the jury's still out with these guys for me, in my opinion. I think they were benefiting from the gun being so good, and maybe they weren't putting themselves in positions where normally they would win a normal gunfight straight up with non-overpowered weapons. I don't know. Maybe they were getting bailed out. Maybe I'm just wrong. But I think at least to start, these guys will struggle, and they will end up not getting it rebounded at the major. So looking at their group, though, it's weird because Group A is pretty good, and it's kind of like a toss-up. So Atlanta FaZe, I think they're definitely expected to be first. London is definitely expected to be last, but 2 through 5 I could see going any way. Toronto, of course, it depends how they do with the roster change. If it helps them, they'll be right up there. If it hurts them, they'll probably be 5th. LAG, their best hardpoint map is out, which definitely hurts them, but still a good team, a good search team, a good team of veterans, and they definitely overperformed in Stage 1, so if they keep that up, they'll be up there. LA Thieves and New York, I mean, it could go any way. So New York could be anywhere, honestly, anywhere from 2 to 5 would not surprise me in their group. I think they will end up getting top 3 and making winner's bracket before flopping at the major and finishing top 8. And finally, bold prediction number 3. This is the spiciest one. This one is probably the least likely to happen, but who knows? Here it is. The Minnesota Rocker will have a roster change by the end of Stage 2. I think Accuracy or Priesta, one of them will not be on the roster before the start of Stage 3. So basically at some point, probably after the Stage 2 major. Now, if they come out and prove me wrong and they finally pick up the slack and play the way they were expected to coming into the season, then they obviously won't need to make a roster change because expectations were for this to be a top 6 team, maybe even top 4 or 5. So if they play that way, there's probably no need for a roster change yet. But if they play the way they played in Stage 1, roster change could be coming. They're 7th in terms of points because they went 3-2 in group play, but they went 0-1 at the major, lost their first match in losers bracket, and were out. So it wasn't a good showing for them. Their hardpoint struggles have been bad. I think Attach said, and I didn't check it, but I think he's right, they were the second best search team in terms of map win percentage and dead last in hardpoint win percentage. So that tells you all you need to know. Hardpoint, just like search, is 2/5 of the series, assuming it goes 5 games. And the second hardpoint happens before the second search. So you really need to be able to win hardpoints, at least in some capacity, more than somebody else in the league. They're not beating anybody in hardpoints right now. They're dead last. So it needs to pick up for sure because their control, I think they were top 5 in win percentage there. Like I said, top 2 in a search, but dead last in hardpoint. And it's an important part of the series, and it's an important part of every series. And I think the big thing was them. The individual talent is there. Attach is still a very good player. I think he's still a top 15 to 20 player in the CDL. Major Maniac, he had a decent Stage 1 too. He, I think, is probably the biggest reason for their success in Search and Destroy. He's a very good search player, the shot caller, and he's just a versatile player too. He can run, now there's no M4, he can run a Krig, he can run an AK-74U, he can run a QBZ. He will do whatever's needed of him, and he'll do it pretty well. But beyond that, the two obvious strugglers from Stage 1 were Accuracy and their Priesta. I think Priesta was the biggest struggle. He was worse. He was their worst player, no doubt in my mind. I don't know if it's just the pacing, not being able to adjust back to 4v4, but he's definitely playing too fast for the team. He's not in positions where he can be traded out when he dies with Attach or whatever else. He just seems like he is doing his own thing sometimes, and the team chemistry, the teamwork around it is not there. On the flip side, you could argue that Accuracy is playing too slow, which has been a criticism of him for how long now. He is a very slow player. And when he has SMGs who want to get up in the face of others, Attach not so much. He can play whatever role you ask him to. If you want him to play fast, he will. But he'll probably play a little bit slower usually. But if your AR is playing slow and not there to trade those guys, not there to bait them, just not getting to the power positions in time, then you're going to struggle. And if there's nobody trading out your subs when they're dying, especially in a game mode like Hardpoint, you're going to struggle. You need to be there to get those trades, trade effectively, hold the spawns, and keep the hill. But Accuracy not doing it. And his stats, honestly, they weren't that bad from Stage 1. Like I said, statistically, Priesta was by far their worst player, but it's basically just... I didn't want to make the prediction that Priesta would be the one to get dropped because, like I said, one of them is playing too fast and one of them is playing too slow. If they don't succeed the way they were expected to succeed, something has to change. I know people have said that it seems like the Friends camp over at Minnesota. I don't want to go that far. I think, and I trust that if they need a change to be made, they will make it. And it's going to have to be one of these two guys if it is. I mean, like I said, Major Maniac's been fine. Attach has been very good, but Priesta not playing with the team in terms of the pacing, and Accuracy is not keeping up with the team either in terms of pacing. It's just something's got to give, and those two guys seem to be the least flexible in terms of their play style. So I think, I know their sub is Saint. I don't think he'd be their sub, so it would probably be, if they made a roster change, somebody brand new. I don't know, but I just think that, like I said, this probably won't happen, but I think it should happen if they underperform the way they did in Stage 1. So that's how I feel about that. I think Florida will be a top 4 team in Stage 2. I think New York will flop, and they will finish in 7th or 8th at the second major. And I think Minnesota, if they do not get their performances together, will be seeing a roster change, and that sure would be spicy. And I hope it doesn't happen. I like Minnesota. I want them to succeed with this roster they have, but it didn't look promising in Stage 1. So that's going to wrap it up for the video. If you enjoyed the predictions, don't forget to drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. I am having my goal of 50 subscribers by the end of April. I am at 44, so we can definitely get 6 more subscribers in 5 or 6 weeks. So I'd appreciate that. Leave a comment down below as well with your bold predictions. That's going to wrap up the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a good day. And I will talk to you guys in the next video, probably tomorrow, recapping some CDL action.